Okay, time for another update on the Schaublin 102 lathe. Here's where we're at. The top slide is finished. That was pretty much finished last video, and that's come up 100%, really good. And there's a bit of backlash in the thread that I might be able to get out later. I've got that as good as I can really get it. There's virtually, well, a tiny bit of backlash that I still haven't adjusted up fully because I'm letting the shaft bed in a little bit. I had to reorientate through the thread block slightly. So hopefully that will come up 100% after a little bit of use, and I can just adjust any movement out of it. So that's looking good. Now the cross slide, that was going to be a big headache. I didn't like what I saw there, and basically it had been repaired when they redid it. It's been professionally repaired, but when they redid it, the heating warped it slightly, so I had to redo the flats and the dovetails to get rid of all that. It took quite a while. And when they'd refaced it, they'd actually not set it up 100% right, and it was out on the corner to corner. There was variation in the measurement of the base to the flat. So I put it in a 4-jaw chuck and on a lathe, and I used the tool post grinder, and I lightly refaced it and got it up to within half a thou on each corner. So as far as thickness, I'm totally happy with that. Now I had a whinny also. On this, the thread block was badly worn. I mean, it was slopping around like you wouldn't believe, and I thought, oh, this is no good. And I didn't see that it was going to be reusable, so I was all set to cut myself an Acme tap, left-hand tap, to make a new one up. And I thought, well, I'll take it out this morning and have a look and see how bad it is, and also use it as a reference. When I took it out, I found actually it was loose in the centre. So I took it out, and the way these work, they're a cylinder and they're pinned in 2 places, as you can see. And actually when you repin them, the pins actually, if you use a new position, if you turn the thread block, the cylinder around slightly and use a new position, when you repin it, you take all the movement out of the thread cylinder, and also it puts a bit of load on it and tightens up the thread. So basically that is good. I mean, there's very little, well, almost no slop in that whatsoever, and there's no end play whatsoever also. So that worked out good. I was happy with that. I got that sorted out better than I thought I'd be able to do, because it wasn't looking too healthy there. So top slide, cross slide, looking good. I'm 100% happy with that, and I'll paint these sections later, but I won't do it until I've got it back together and done a few test cuts on it, just to make sure that everything is 100% as it should be. And I'm not expecting any problems, but it's the wise thing to do. As you can see, it's got a little lever lock for the compound. I mean, it's built like a tank, this thing, and look how heavy it is. I mean, compared to what's on my Chinese lathe. I mean, the cross slide on my Chinese lathe is as heavy as that, but the top slide is nothing like that. I mean, this would be, oh, gee, 6 or 7 times as heavy. So she's pretty good. Okay, so that's looking good. Anyway, I stripped the headstock off. You can see it there. Once I've got the cross slide and the compound and the tailstock done, and the actual lathe bed, well, then I'll move on to this. I know there's some wear in the bush, the front bush anyway, and I'll have to rectify that. The back one's adjustable. Well, they're both adjustable, but the back one's quite simply adjustable. It uses a little wedge type arrangement that you can basically reduce the thickness of the wedge and close up on, so that should be okay. The front, I might have to remachine the taper on that. I'll see how it goes. You can see where they've used a serpentine belt on it. I mean, it's a heavy one too. It's way too heavy. So I mean, I'll get rid of that and I'll get a nice thin belt. It's marked the pulley a bit, but whether that will polish out, it might polish out. I'm not particularly worried anyway. But overall, I'm not expecting any major hassles. But so that'll be the last thing I do. As to the bed, well, it came up pretty good. I was going to dip it in my electro bath, but I decided like this, I'll leave the paint, that's actually quite solid, and I'll rub back, it'll actually form a good base, and I'll spray it with the new paint. So I basically just went over the bed on the lathe with Scotch-Brite and WD-40 and a soft wire brush, and it came up pretty good, as I'll show you. So over here we have the bed in all its pristine glory. It actually came up nice. As you can see, it was a rusty old thing when I got it, and now it's looking a bit more respectable. So you can see this is the style with the very short T-piece on the front versus the long T-section on the back. Most of the 102s have a full length T-section right across the front, but this one doesn't. So you actually use this to mount accessories, and actually there was a cross-slide drive mechanism you could get, very rare apparently. That would bolt on there and drive the cross-slide if you wanted to, but anyway, there you go. So you can see I've been stripping the paint back a bit on it. This is like a big RHS section. It's a box section bed, and when I went through this underneath I could see traces of the original paint, and it was in fact that horrible green colour that Schaublin used. This came in green or matte black, low gloss black, so I'm going to do it in a low gloss black. I've got plenty of that from some of the motorcycle restoration work I've done. So I'll just use that up on it, and I'll leave the green inside so that if anybody wants in the cavity, so if anybody gets it after I've gone, well, if they want to respray it, good luck to them, they can see what the original colour was. But there you have it. Down here's the headstock end, and you can see that's the original finish. It was all protected by the headstock, and you can still see the original machine marks. It's beautiful the way they've done it. I mean, it's excellent. Down here is not so excellent. This is the war zone where it's been doing its thing, and there's gouges and chunks out there, as you'd expect on something that's sort of done as much work as this had and been treated as badly as this had, and is 90 years old almost. But they're only dings, they won't affect the accuracy. I've straight edged this with my big straight edge, both sides of it, and it's actually not too bad. There's there's virtually no wear on the back section, and there's a tiny bit on the front section just through here. Overall it's not bad. The wear would be at the most half a thou, but out on the outside edges where you're pulling down on, there's actually no wear, so all the wear is just on this tiny little section here. So overall it's not going to make any difference once you put the flat base on there. It's actually, I think, will be pretty okay. So there you have it, folks. It's looking good. Moving right along, and my $356 is looking a lot better at this stage of the game. By the time it's finished, it should be capable of high accuracy. I'm certainly giving it my best shot, and overall, at the end of the day, it should turn out to be a very nice little lathe. Okay, get back to you later when I've done a bit of painting, probably.